Welcome to the Women's Rugby Rundown for May 6th through the 12th. This week, we've got the lineup set for the grand final in Madrid from May 31st to June 2nd, with the Championship and Sevens playoff pools now confirmed. We'll find out who the top 4 Challenger teams are after this weekend's HSBC Sevens Challenger wraps up in Krakow, Poland. South Africa, Madagascar, and Canada have all qualified for the WXV. We'll dive into the upcoming fan-focused law changes in rugby, and stay tuned as we round up all of the global premier and club competitions worldwide. Get ready for a journey through the latest in women's rugby. This is your Women's Rugby Rundown, and we're about to kick off. The championship pools for the grand final for Sevens in Madrid, May 31st to June 2nd, have now been confirmed. New Zealand's already won the league competition, so they won all the stages before this, but now it comes down to one event, and we're going to name one grand final champion. So this one's pretty exciting. Obviously, New Zealand has done well. They've come in the last couple tournaments and done really great. Australia has also done well. We've seen USA win a stage. We've seen Ireland win a stage. So it's really anyone's ball game and who can win on the weekend. The HSBC 2025 playoff pools have also been confirmed, so you can see those there. The last 4, so those Challenger 1 through 4 spots, will be determined with a tournament this weekend in Krakow. You know, we've seen some competition there. China, Poland, Belgium, all looking good. So we'll have to see who comes out of there. And then they'll play here for essentially an opportunity for core status, and then who will be in the Challenger Series versus the HSBC Series. So big weekend in Krakow, and then a huge weekend at the end of the month in Madrid. Let's switch over to 15s. A lot happened this weekend. South Africa, Madagascar, and Canada all qualified for the WXV. You can see their placements here. Of course, Canada is only halfway through the Pacific 4 Series, but with 2 victories under their belt, they're going ahead with WXV. And as the host, really exciting for them. We also got news that Wales will host the June 29th playoff between them and Spain, and that will determine winner in WXV 2, and WXV 3 will be runner-up. Kenya is once again the Africa Cup winners. They've won the last several years of this competition. It has looked different each year sometimes. And they did this in front of record crowds in Madagascar. Not a surprise for those of us that have followed rugby in Madagascar as much as we can. But just huge crowds. They're on the hills. They filled the stadiums. It's absolutely wonderful. It's a working day for some of these matches, and they're coming out and just making an absolute spectacle. Madagascar was a really fun surprise, of course, beating Kenya earlier in the competition. And then on this weekend, they were able to hold South Africa 46-17 and had some really great moments. The other match was Kenya beating Cameroon 39-17. However, it wasn't all smooth sailing in the Africa Cup. The Kenya Lionesses talked about protesting their last match against Cameroon as a way to show a little bit more support for the fact that they haven't been paid for national team duties for at least 9 months. It is well known that the Kenya Rugby Union is struggling with their finances, and they are not the only team that is not being paid, but they are the ones currently in events right now where they're not being paid for their activities. You can see this statement from a player a couple of months ago, but we agree, pay the Lionesses, pay them for the duty that they are doing for their union. Canada and New Zealand recorded wins in the second round of the Pacific 4 Series this weekend. Canada defeated Australia 33-14, while New Zealand defeated USA 57-5. With Canada's win over Australia, they become the Utrecht Shield winners, moved up to 3rd in the World Rugby rankings, qualified for the WXV, qualified for 2025 Rugby World Cup, and then they will face New Zealand, number 2 in the world, this weekend. So a big match to watch. We also learned the location of the Wales and Spain WXV playoff. It will be June 29th at Arms Park. This is a big one. The winner will be in WXV 2, and the runner-up will be in WXV 3. The Six Nations has announced a new series of under-20 international matches for women's rugby starting in July in Parma, Italy. World Rugby released their rugby fan-focused law changes that will go into effect into July of this year. The fan-focused, air quotes, I think really is just to make it seem like they're doing this for the betterment of the game. And in some cases, I would agree with them. And in other cases, wouldn't necessarily agree. And if you want a fun time, go check out the social medias because it's been a fire. Law amendments, onside from the kicks, players must actively retreat. We saw this a lot in the 2023 Rugby World Cup and then the Six Nations as well. Players are just hanging out in the middle, not retreating. Kind of made it a mess. Free kicks, I don't love this one. Cannot choose a scrum for a free kick. I think this penalizes teams that are good scrummagers, and more ball and hand time, I think, is the outcome. But it doesn't really mean that we're a sport for all sizes if we're going to take away one of the biggest aspects of that from rugby. The crocodile roll is out. Totally agree with this. It's very dangerous. It can hurt players. Understand that there is some concern from smaller players that use this tactic to remove large players. Just going to say get under, and that is going to be the way forward. There will also be some closed law trials, including red card sanctions. The 20-minute red card we're not a fan of. Also, the set piece, great. Let's speed it up. That's fine. Protecting the scrum half should have always been there. As a former scrum half ourselves, we want to protect that part of the game and keep the ball going quickly. Now we'll switch over to Premier and Club news. The USA Club Rugby National Championships are this weekend in Austin, Texas. Matches are on May 17th to 19th and available to watch on the Rugby Network. The Black Pearls continue their undefeated streak. They've effectively won the league at this point. It is essentially a round robin, even though there's this many teams. They're playing against each other on a series of weekends. There's one more weekend to go, so they can improve their bonus point ability and overall standings in the league. But congratulations on a spectacular season to this Ugandan team. In the Iberdrola semifinals, Krat and Mahadhanda were victorious and move on to the championship this weekend, May 19th. Italy's Series A Elite Final will be May 25th between Villabora and Valsugna. Exeter and Bristol confirmed their Allianz PWR playoff semifinal spots, along with Gloucester Hart Prairie and Saracens. Round 3 of WPL in the United States saw wins by New York, Life West, and Berkeley All Blues. After 5 rounds of South Africa's Premier Division, the Bulls Daisies are on top of the table with 25 points, but looking like it's a little bit fun here in the middle, with a couple of those teams having some closer score lines for closer standings. That does it for us this week. You can always catch our episodes on Spotify, YouTube, Patreon, and of course all of the social media channels.